All right. Number 1, the vertex is 0 plus or minus 3, and the foci is 0 plus or minus 6. Write the equation. Now, what? Well, this is the last lesson for this unit. Not for the year. We have one more unit for the seniors. 2 more for the non. For the logarithms.
When do we start?
I love logarithms, so I can't say.
Studying for finals?
Not off the top of my head. I have to look at my calendar. All right. Vertex is 0 plus or minus 3. The foci is 0 plus or minus 6. Definitely you're going to want to sketch, and I'll explain to you why. Let's go ahead and sketch first. 0 plus or minus 3. Bless you. I know, I couldn't tell either. Okay. Vertex, do I put points or stars? Points. And then 6th. I put my stars. Okay, let's stop the talking, please. All right. So why is it important to plot your points?
So you know which direction they're going.
Good. So you know you're correct. 2 things. So you know which direction they're going, and you know what the shape is. For example, today our notes are titled hyperbola equation. So obviously we know it's a hyperbola. But on the test, will it tell you, hey, this is a hyperbola? No. So when you plot these points, how can you tell that this is a hyperbola and not? First off, how can we tell it's not a parabola? There's 2 foci. Parabolas only have 1. How can we tell it's not a circle? Again, there's 2 circles only have a center and radius, and that's it. All right. How can we tell the main important piece that kids struggle with? How can we tell it's not an ellipse? The placing of the foci. Because do ellipses have 2 vertices and 2 foci, just like a hyperbola? Yes. The placing of the stars makes all the difference. So if these 2 stars were on the inside, in between those 2 vertices, what shape would it be? An ellipse. Because they are on the outside, it is a what? Hyperbola. Okay, so the placing of your stars, the placing of your foci does make a difference. All right, which direction is my hyperbola opening? Up and down. So this vertex up and this vertex down. All right, because it's opening, what's the center? I'll start off with that. Let's get our heads up, hoods off, and you're taking notes. Yeah, can you nudge him, please? Hood off. That includes your earbuds. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Okay, he said the center is 0, 0. Do you guys agree? The center would be here. Why? Because the center is always right in between the vertices or right in the middle or in between the foci. Does it matter which one you do? You could use the midpoint formula, or you can just eyeball it and see that if I go, it ends up at 0, 0. Yes? All right. So with that being said, because it's opening up and down, is it x squared first or y squared first? It's opening up and down with the y-axis, so it is y. Since the center is 0, 0, it's going to be y squared and just x squared. There's not going to be any parentheses. Do you guys agree? Plus or minus in the middle? Minus. All right. Does any questions on how I know it's y squared minus x squared, and I haven't found a and b? Okay, not sure why. Okay, I'll ask again. How do we know y squared comes first? Because it's opening up and down. When our hyperbolas open up and down, that means y squared is coming first. When our hyperbolas open right and left, that means x squared is coming first. Why don't I have an HK on the ones that I just wrote? Because the center is HK. And what's my center? 0, 0. All right, and it always equals 1. Okay, the center, do you know how we talk about the up, down, and right, left movement? Yes? I know my up, down movement. From the center, how far up and how far down did I move? 3. What does that represent, A or B, when I'm going up and down? B. And B goes with the X or with the Y? The Y, because the up and down is on the Y-axis. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So what do I put underneath the Y? A 9. All right, I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to let you guys digest and process. Where in the heck did I get that 9 from? And ask me a question when you're ready. Yes? Where did I get the 9 from? Same question? Yeah? Okay. Now, where did I get the 9 from? So let's talk about yesterday's lesson when we were not working backwards. Do you agree the number underneath the Y, which in this case was 4, the square root of 4 is 2, told me how far up and down from the center? Yes or no? Yeah. Here, let's look at 1. Here, the number underneath the Y is 1/9, so I went up and down 1/3. Do you agree? Mm-hmm. Okay. Here, I'm going backwards. I know my up and down already. How far up and down from the center to either vertex? What's that length? That is 3. And that is, I'm going to put a B here, B equals 3. Do you guys see that? Before I go any further, do you guys agree that length is 3? Yes? Okay, and then B, because up and down is always the Y, B squared is 9, and I put it underneath the Y. Got it? We'll get more practice with this. All right, they didn't give me a point on the hyperbola, so how do I find the A? What formula do we have that uses A? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Do I have to worry about big or small when I'm adding?
Oh,
No, how do I know this formula is an adding? Because the hyperbola is a minus, and it is always the opposite. Okay, C is the focal length. Focal length is from the center to what? The focus, either one. What's the length here? What is this F? 6. If I counted downward, would that length still be 6? Yes? Yes. Yes, always. Her question was, will C always be the distance from the center to the focus? Yes, not the vertex to the focus, because this is not a parabola, it's a hyperbola. Yes. Not always. It depends on which way you're opening, because if this was sideways, it would have been A. But the center to either vertex is your A or your B, depending on which way it's opening. All right, so what do I plug in for? And I keep using F. Gosh darn it. What should I have there? C. All right, so I put 6 squared equals, I don't know what A squared is. That's what I'm trying to find. Plus, what's B squared? 3 or 9? 9, so I'm just going to put 3 squared. So 36 take away 9 equals A squared. Do you guys agree with that? What's 36 take away 9? And what do I do next? As tempting as it is to square root, do I have to? Because what am I looking for here, A or A squared? So what do I put? I mean, you can technically square root it and say A is root 27. You can, but are you going to end up squaring it anyway? When you put it here, are you going to put A squared? Yeah, and you're going to get rid of the square root, so it's not necessary. All right, questions? We're good? Pretty easy? All right, let's try another one. Number 2, vertex is plus or minus 1. Asymptote, what did he say? All right, the vertices are plus or minus 1, 0. The asymptote, the equation of the asymptote is y equals plus or minus 5x. And we're going to come up with the equation. All right, let's get to plotting. All right, positive 1, 0, negative 1, 0, and the equation of the asymptotes. All right, do we at least know the center? Yes? What's the center? All right, do I know which direction they are opening? If these are my vertices, is it opening up and down or right and left? It has. If those are vertices, they open in the direction your vertices are going. So it's right and left. Do you guys see that? All right, so let's get down what we can. Because it's right and left, what comes first? The x squared or the y squared? The x squared. This one was y squared because it was opening up and down. This one is the x squared because it's opening right and left. And because the center is 0, 0, it's just going to be x squared over minus y squared over equals 1. Okay. From the center, how far right and left did I move? 1. So is that 1 going to be A or B? A. Okay, earlier when we counted this up and down, I called it B. Why do I call this one A? Because it's moving right and left, and that goes with the x, which is A. And A squared, or 1 squared, is 1. Questions? Okay, I'm going to give you guys some time to think about how to find this. First off, can I use my focal length? Why not? They didn't give me they didn't give us the focus, right? If we knew the focus, we could find a focal length. But they did give us this. I'll give you one hint. Focus on the slope and see if you could come up with your B value. Try it. I know I didn't do any explaining other than a hint of use your slope, but try it nonetheless. What was it? The slope, I just circled it. The plus or minus 5x.
Wait. Yeah, because this would be
This slope right here, the 5. What does that mean? 5 over 1, and that's rise over 1. That means up 5 over 1. Think about it. Draw your box if it helps. What was that? Trying to, the only thing we have left to do, trying to find the B squared. No, we're not sure how. Yeah, you're sure? Yeah, you're not sure.
We're
Not sure.
Anyone think they've got it?
Wait, okay, where do you
Okay, I have a few
when you
people.
find your slope, where do you start from?
Okay, now, okay, good question. When you find your slope, where do you start from? What do we know about our rectangular shape? It always goes through the center. So the slope will start from the center. So, up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1. So that would be my box or my rectangular shape here. Do you guys agree? Up 5 over 1. If that is my slope, then that means my rectangular shape looks like that. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you now have enough to find this number right here? How far right and left did I move in my rectangle? 1. How far up and down did I move? 5. So what is B? 5. So what is B squared?
Is it always going to be the slope?
So like,
Good question.
Take us to mathematics.
Yes. No mathematics here.
No, I mean, is it just going to be the slope?
No. Here, so let me come back here really quick and just remind you guys that when we did our rise over run, we got, where is that work at? I've lost it. It looks like I erased it right here. When we did our rise over run, we got what? Up 2 over 6, yes or no? And can you think of that as B over A?
Yeah.
Yes, because your up down is your B and your right left is A. Up B over A. Up 2 over 6. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put a little thing over here. Is this equivalent to 5 over 1? Yes or no? B over A. 5 over 1.
Okay, so your B always going to be
Your B over A is always going to be your slope. Plus or minus. In this case, it's just B because A is 1.
So if A was 2,
It's right here. So I'm going to put it back in here because I did erase it right there. M equals, what's B over A? 2 over 6, which is 1/3, and that's what we have, right?
oh, I see. So that's easy.
Yeah. Okay, so what he just observed is the slope is always going to be B over A. Should you know that? Yes, because without graphing, if I asked you without doing any graphing here, if I asked you what's the equation of the asymptotes, could you come up with that using your center and the B over A as your slope? Yep. All right, and we need to know that for the next problem as well. So any question, or problem after. Any questions on the B over A? None? All right, number 3. Vertices are -2, 1 and 2, 1, and your foci are -3, 1 and +3, 1. I'm going to let you guys do that one on your own. Do the best you can. This is very similar to number 1. The only difference is the center is not at the origin. You should be working. You're not just sitting there. Does everybody have this down so I can move it? Yeah, what you should be doing first is what? Graphing, sketching it. Plot your points, figure out which direction. Then you can use that to find A or B, and definitely C. You weren't ready yet? Sorry. At the very least, do you guys know which direction it's opening?
Yes.
Can anybody tell me? Left and right. Next thing I'd like you to do, if you haven't done it already, is find your center. All right. Do you have the center? What is it? 0, 1. Okay. Keep working. I'm just going to show you in case you've gotten stuck. I plotted the points -2 up 1, +2 up 1, and the foci left 3 up 1 with a star, right 3 up 1 with a star. Does everybody see? Those of you guys told me it's opening right and left. Do you guys understand why? All right, and then the center, we know it's right in between, so you either use the midpoint formula or you count your way in, and you would get 0, 1 as your center. Yes or no? All right, I'm going to let you continue. You have enough to find the number A or B. You have enough to find A or B. You know C, and you can use that to find your missing letter. C is, be careful, C is the length from the center to your star, not the vertex to the star. Everybody hear that? This C is not this little length right here. It's not the length there. It's from the center to the star. That's your C. Check around you when they're done. Anybody else have it? because the center is 0, 1, we're going to have, like this, this should be y. And then those are not 1. Do you see that from here to that point is 2? So 2 squared is, so the 8 is, no, center 2, that's dot right there. And that dot's at 2, right? So you agree? So, yeah, so that's 2 and that's 4, we'll change that. Okay. And then your vertex. All right. X comes first or Y comes first? I'm sorry, the X squared or the Y squared? Which one comes first? X squared because it's opening right and left. And it's X minus 0. Do you guys agree? So just X squared. And what do I have here for the Y? Y minus 1. Why is it not just X squared, Y squared? Because we're no longer at the origin. Do you see that? Over equals 1. With using the picture and counting your points, which letter do I know? A or B? A. Why? Because A moves right and left. From the center to the vertex, what's that length? What is it? 2. And is that A? Yes? Why is it A and not B? Left and right. B is up and down, yes. All right. So where do I put the 4? Under the X or under the Y? Okay, so 4 because 2 squared is 4. And did you guys use your focal length formula? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. C, I didn't write it down, but what is C, or how do I find C? 3. It's a length from the center to the star, to the focus. So C is that 3 you guys said? All right, so then we plug in 3 squared equals 2 squared plus B squared. Is that enough to find it? All right, so what does this give me? 9 equals 4 plus B squared. B equals the square root of what? And I'm not going to write B. I'm going to leave it as B squared. B squared equals what? 5. And now I did what I told you guys not to do. Do I need to square root? No, because I'm looking for B squared here. So what do I put? 5. Any of you guys get it on your own or pretty close? Pretty close. All right. Let's try one where they give us a point. Any questions here? Okay, number 4. Vertex is 1, 2, and 1, negative 2. And it passes through 0, root 5. Okay. I still suggest you plot the points first. Go ahead and do that. All right, with 1, 2, and 1, negative 2 plotted, which direction does the hyperbola open? Up and down, right? Because the vertices go in the direction of which it opens, yes or no? All right, go ahead and find the center. Either count or use the midpoint formula, x plus x divide by 2, y plus y divide by 2. What do you guys get? How many of you guys are just counting your way to the center or eyeballing it? Anybody using the midpoint formula? No? All right. X comes first or Y comes first? And Y comes first because it's vertical opening up and down. So Y minus 0 is just going to be Y squared. Do you agree? Minus, and then X minus what? 1, because that's the X value in the center. All right, I'll let you guys continue it. You know at least A or B. You know at least that. We don't know C in this problem, but you know, and you can easily find at least A or B. You figure out which one it is.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have it? What did you guys do? What is it? First tell me the length. 2, and is it A or B? Okay, first off, how do we know, where did you get the 2? From the center to either vertex? And how did you know it was B?
It's going up and down.
Because it's going up and down. Yes? Okay, so where do I put the 4? Underneath the y squared or underneath the x squared? Okay. At this point, on the other problems, what would I use? I would use the focal length formula. Why can't I use it on this problem? We don't know what C is. We weren't given the focus to know, or the foci to know what C is. So I'm going to put an A squared here because I don't know what it is, and I can't find it using the focal length formula. So what am I going to do instead?
Use the point.
Use the point, and what am I going to do? I'm going to plug it in for X and Y. All right, let's do this. What am I plugging in for Y? Root 5 quantity squared over 4 minus, what am I plugging in for X? 0 minus 1 quantity squared over A squared equals 1. All right. I plugged in Y, I plugged in X. Root 5 squared is pretty nice because that just comes out to be what? So 5/4 minus 0 minus 1 is -1. Squared is 1 over A squared equals 1. Any suggestions on by cross multiply? I can't do cross multiplication because there's more than one term here. But I can clear by multiplying everything by 4A squared. Or I can subtract the 5/4 and then multiply. It's up to you guys. How would you solve it if this was on the test? What is that? He said I would subtract the 5/4. No, you're saying you would clear it? Totally your choice. I'm going to let you guys try it on your own, whether you're subtracting and then multiplying, or if you do clear, what do you multiply everything by? 4A squared. And remember, A squared is what you're looking for. You do not have to square root. You can, but it's not necessary. So am I. Anybody have it? I heard 4. Did I hear 4/5? 4? 4/3? I don't know. Who said I don't know?
1/5.
1/5. All right. Anyone have a preference on the method I use? Subtracting? 5/4 minus 5/4. And I'm going to work over here. -1 over A squared equals, do you agree 1 is equivalent to 4 over 4? Yes? So what's 4/4 take away 5/4? -1/4. And then now, I heard cross multiply earlier. If I wanted to, now could I cross multiply? Yep, so that would give me what? -4 equals negative A squared. Divide both sides by -1, and A squared equals 4. I can square root and get A equals 2. Is it necessary? What do I put here for the A squared? 4. Oh, I'm going to leave that A squared only because I didn't realize this had all my messy work. So I'm going to rewrite it down here. I'm actually going to just write it here. Y squared over 4, and then x minus 1 squared over what? Over 4 equals 1. Anyone have any problem with these two numbers being the same? Why do you think that might concern a student? Because they think it's a circle. Oh, wait, this should be a circle. How do we know it's not a circle? That minus sign. That minus sign, does it matter if these two numbers are the same or different? It's automatically a hyperbola. Did anybody use the other method and get 4? Yes, it did work? All right. So it's your choice. These last few problems I'm going to write down quickly, and you're just going to name. Name the conic. What are the choices we have? It's either going to be a circle, parabola, ellipse, or hyperbola. And you can just put C, P, E, or H by each one. You don't have to write out everything. All right, I'm going to write them down quickly. Just write them down with me and then name them at the end. Are you ready? Number 1 is 5x squared plus 12x minus 5y squared plus 18y plus 114 equals 0. Don't name it yet. Number 2, y squared minus 4x plus 12 equals 0. Don't name it yet. Number 3, I know I'm going fast. I'm doing that on purpose. 2x squared minus 10x plus 2y squared minus 12y minus 24 equals 0. And number 4, 7x squared plus 35x plus 4y squared plus 8y plus 12 equals 0. All right. Yes. The first section of the test are questions just like this. So write them down and just put C, P, E, or H by each one, unless you want to write the whole thing out. That's your choice. Which one have I told you guys to use first or to look for first? Parabolas. And then I suggested using which one second? Hyperbola, because it's the only one that has 2 squares with the minus. And that leaves you with circles and ellipses. And you can look at coefficients for those.
Ms. Torres?
Yes.
Is circles for the squares or 2x like they're both just the same?
Yes, they have to both be positive or the same sign and same leading coefficients.
It's really drawing and I end up with hands like this.
Oh, with your pen.
Yeah.
All right, are we done? Chris, are you done?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, okay. First one. What's the first one? H. Okay, how do we know it's not a parabola? 2 squares. How do we know it's a hyperbola and not the circle or...
The coefficients are the same, but it's positive.
Okay, one's positive, one's... Kids are like, oh, coefficients are the same, it must be a circle. No, if one of them is negative, only one, not both. If one of them is negative, it's automatically a what? Why do I say only one and not both? Because what happens if both were negative? You divide it out to the other side and they both become positive. All right, whoa. Let's finish up, guys. All right, next one. What is it? Because there's only one squared, so that leaves circle and ellipse. Do these two have 2 squareds and 2 squareds? How do I know the difference? Same, so this is a what? And different, so this one is elliptical and ellipse. All right, we're good?
Yeah.